Welcome back. Well, Nigeria will increase custom duties for tomato imports and waive tariffs for some farming equipment to stimulate local production and invest in the agricultural sector. This is according to the Minister of Trade and Investment, Mr. Okechukwu Enelama. Customs duties on some greenhouse equipment currently amounting to as much as 20% will be removed. Nigeria has been trying to encourage local food production in order to reduce a costly import bill and end its reliance on oil exports. But an artificially high exchange rate has dried up the supply of hard currency, forcing the temporary shutdown of 2 local tomato paste plants dependent on imports in recent months. In the meantime, the United Nations Food and Agricultural Organization has warned that about 8.1 million Nigerians are in danger of food insecurity. Now, let's bring all of these into perspective with research analyst at financial derivatives company, Desola Simoni. Desola, good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us. 8.1 million Nigerians in danger of food insecurity. That sounds so scary considering how food prices are skyrocketing, lack of adequate rain, foreign exchange issues. Tell me, how bad is the situation?
As you know, the Nutrition's FAO has said this but it's interesting. Let me let you know that a huge portion of these people are internally displaced persons and people that are living in Boko Haram infested regions, talking about Borno, Adamawa, and Yobe states. And we all know that the activities of Boko Haram and the military in that region have really affected economic activities and agricultural activities. And so we've seen a reduction in agricultural produce. That's why there's that food insecurity. But however, a more important issue is export smuggling. It has come to our notice that some farmers in the north are smuggling grains and cereals to neighboring countries of Niger, Cameroon, Chad, and what have you, to take advantage of the exchange rate differential. And this is a more fundamental issue that we should consider.
Now, do you think the federal government is actually doing enough to curb what you have just said and, of course, to ensure food security in Nigeria? We've just heard the Minister of Agriculture, of course, talk about increasing duties for tomato imports and waiving tariffs for some farming equipment. But then there are indications that before the end of this year, we'll see tomato prices going up.
In my view, the government is doing what it can to boost agricultural production in the country and to ensure food sufficiency or sustainability. For instance, as you rightly said, the government has increased the tariffs on tomato paste. This is just to serve as an incentive to boost local production in the country. But you would notice that last year, 2 major tomato processing plants closed down because of foreign exchange issues. So I think that although the government has said, would waive tariffs on import of machinery and equipment to the agri sector and some other real sectors, to some other industries in the real sector, and they've also increased tariffs on tomato paste. A more fundamental issue, or a more pressing issue that critically affects food production in Nigeria is the exchange rate. I feel that if the exchange rate situation is sorted out properly, I think that the rest would fall in place.
Recently, the federal government constituted a task force to bring down food prices. What are they expected to do? How are they expected to do it? How feasible is this?
The food prices, okay, let me say this. There is no food shortage or scarcity in Nigeria per se. What is driving food prices up is the cost of production, input costs. For instance, transportation from the north to the south. And most of food transportation in Nigeria is done via roads, via trucks. And these trucks are fueled by diesel. And the price of diesel between this time last year has increased. This time last year was about 140 naira per liter, and today is 260 naira per liter. So the price of diesel, and this is actually affected by the foreign exchange. So the price of diesel increased, and the cost of production, cost of transportation increased, and this is what is filtering into food prices. So as I said earlier, the root cause is the exchange rate, which is affecting the price. So once that is sorted, I think food prices will go down. Furthermore,
well, Desola, I will continue to hope for a better prospect going forward there. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
We move over now to Ethiopia, where one of the continent's most profitable airlines there, that's the Kenyan airline, has reported an increase in revenues. The company's CEO says it's been unable to repatriate about $220 million held in local currency in Nigeria, Egypt, and some other African states because of foreign exchange shortages in those countries.
Ethiopian Airline is Sub-Saharan Africa's biggest by revenue and has been rapidly expanding in its bid to become a global player through its increasingly crowded hub in Addis Ababa. Ethiopian Airlines chief executive says U.S. order temporarily halting immigration from 7 Muslim-majority states was creating confusion for passengers, but was not having much impact overall on its operations. The airline's revenue rose 10.3% to 54.5 billion birr in the 2015-2016 fiscal year, while passenger numbers climbed 18% to 7.6 million. Net profit was up 70% at 6 billion birr.
In general, it is affecting air travel because people are nervous, people are confused. There is no clarity in the executive order.
The carrier wants to increase revenue to $10 billion by 2025 and expand its fleet to 140 aircraft from less than 90 right now, with sites in Asia.
Well, operationally, it has not created any disruption to us, or either on our schedule or on our customer service, because once the executive order was issued, then we distributed to our system, and there was not big issue. I mean, but it's creating an atmosphere that people are confused, so they are not traveling. So it is going to bring our travel demand down, and it's going to create a big problem for our performance.
According to him, 2015-2016 produced record revenue and net profit, but the airline still faced challenges, particularly in African states where foreign exchange shortages meant it could not repatriate earnings held in local currency.
Today, among these 4 countries, between Nigeria, Angola, Sudan, and Egypt, we have $220 million worth of local currencies, whether it is in Naira in Nigeria, or Kwanza in Angola, or the Egyptian pound, or the Sudanese pound, because there is severe shortage of foreign currency, foreign exchange, so we are not able to take whatever we sold. So it is stuck there. It has been trapped for more than 2 years, and it is subject to devaluation, and this is a huge challenge for us and for the other African countries.
Falling oil prices in the period had also undermined business from those nations. Alongside adding China routes, Ethiopian Airlines is also adding Jakarta and Singapore to its destinations this year.
And with that, we draw the curtain on today's edition of the program. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Chimize Obi Iwago.